for the SATs is to look at practice tests and try to find questions that look remotely difficult, that look like a challenge, and then to spend time looking at them. Also, questions that seem really easy, you can practice working more efficiently. Like how quickly can we answer this question? Working on answering it quickly can be helpful and interesting to do. But for now, what I'm trying to do is actually just find questions that look like there might be some difficulty, something to brush up on in them. So the thing we can do basically is, without solving the question, just pick a method to solve the question and see whether we think that method would work or not. So, for example, on question 6, what are all the values of x that satisfy the equation above? This is giving us all of the potential answers. So all we'd have to do is plug these in to answer it. At least this is one way to do it. And I know that I can plug in answers and see if they work or not, and then move on. I might as well sort of solve this as it is using that method, but I could see that 1 does not work because then we'd be dividing by 0, and then 0, 0 is not going to work, because -1 over -1 isn't -2. And so then I'm going to skip to -1, because by process of elimination, since it has to be A or D, then -3 must work, but -1 might not. So -1, okay, we can say that -1 is not going to work, because -1 squared is 1, 1 minus 1 is 0, 0 over whatever is not going to be -2. So then I'm going to say it's -3. And even though, if I was running out of time, and I don't have time somehow to check it, then I would be happy to just write A. But since we are going to have enough time, based on our general speed, I'm going to actually check this, even though I think it's right. So then we have, so I can see that it's right. But so -3 squared is 9, minus 1 is 8, and then -3 minus 1 is -4, so 8 over -4 equals -2, so that works, so we're happy with A. This is easy. This is just like understanding that we want to, see the value when, at 0, so 4. Okay, another easy question. We know that these things are going to add up to 90 degrees, so 5x equals 90, x equals, I was going to say 15, but that's not right. It's 18, right? So x equals 18, 3x equals 54. And these numbers, doing that, at that speed, or, I'm sure there are students that can do that math even faster and not make that initial mistake that I just made. That, if you use the software that I made, or some other software to just practice doing, things like, multiplying numbers like 18 or multiplying numbers like 15. These are things that a lot of people just don't have that much practice with, so check it out. I'll put a link, and just practice multiplying, 17 times 3 or 18 times 4 or 23 times 6 or something. These are equations that you might not have that much practice with, but, getting a bunch of practice is good. It'll help your number sense and your speed of execution. equation of this line. Okay, I'm not going to do it. Although, so there's different forms of the line equations, and I could improve my knowledge of that. I use y equals mx plus b all the time, and it would be helpful to master the other forms. Okay, this is no problem. A couple things good to know. So we have negative b over 2a. And then also, we don't even necessarily need that, right? Because they want the value of k, right? So you have like this extra stuff, but it's like, okay, what is the value of k? That's like when x is 0, right? So this is really important. Like understanding input output. Like when you have a coordinate that's on a graph, and you have the value of one of them, that should be able to get you the value of the other. So it's just like put in 0 for x, right? So boom, 12. Okay, this I know circle equation. Okay, I know the SOHCAHTOA. 2 x-intercepts. What is the distance? Okay, I know, we'll find the root, get the distance between them. That's fine. The roots, I mean. This one, I think at some point I made a mistake on it. Because I think it was about like the positive square root. So the square root here is the positive square root. Wait, but does that even make sense? So let's actually just look at what this is. What are all values of x that satisfy? Okay, so if x is 1, right. So if x is 1, then we'd have the square root of 4, which is 2. But if 1 minus 3 is negative 2, right? So this is that question. So 1 actually does not work, even though it sort of seems like it sort of does. So the answer is actually B, 2 only. A is a constant. For which of the following values of A does not have no solution? So for it to have no solution, what that means is that there are parallel lines. And for them to be parallel lines, and they have the same slope, the same slope, but different y-intercepts. And so to give them the same slope, we give them the same ratio between x and y, and it's 2 to 1, so negative 6. Okay. Yeah, that just looks easy. This is very basic. What the answer is. Antique 200. The value of the antique has to increase. Okay, it's easy. Okay, this one's a nice, fun, easy one where you can just, add everything, because you add this, you get 5x, add this, you get 5y, so you have 5x plus 5y equals this plus this, so 2500. This one was fun. There's a thing with, the difference of squares. Yeah, so was it 20? I think it was 20, but let's do this one, right? So u plus t times u minus t is going to give us, u squared minus d squared. Therefore, it'll give us 5 times 2, which is 10. And then we know u minus t is 2. So that's 20. So that's going through the no calculator section. Like briefly, again, this is just, how I'm doing it, and I've done this test multiple times, so, do it in the way that makes sense to you.